Hello. Come on in or head on out. Thanks for coming by. Welcome to the 129th Wednesday afternoon poetry reading. Here is part of the Brooklyn Rails ongoing semi-recent sociality environment series. We have a terrific reading for you today, curated by Ben Fama. The title of the reading is I Miss Summer, and Ben will be joined by Andrew Durbin, Precious, Okoyomon, Rachel R. White, and Chariot Wish. And we'll get the reading started in just a minute or two. I'm just going to say a couple quick things. This is the, what is this? The 784th, or no, the 782nd of these online events as we hurtle towards 1,000. And my name's Anselm Berrigan. I'm the editor of the poetry section, and I work on this series together with Carolyn and Eleanor and Chloe and all the terrific people at the Rail. And if you're here for the first time, you might take a look at the chat during the reading, as there will be links posted to the various works and endeavors of our terrific readers. And I think that that is all that I have to say. My script burned up in my hand just a little while ago. Our first reader is going to be Andrew Durbin. Andrew is the author of MacArthur Park and Skyland, both from Nightboat Books. In 2018, MacArthur Park was a finalist for the Believer Book Award. He's also the editor of Jacolby Satterwhite's The Matriarch's Rhapsody from Carnegie Mellon Press, and Kevin Killian's Fascination Memoirs from Semiotexte. The chapbook series Say Bye to Reason and Hi to Everything from Capricious in 2015. His fiction, criticism, and poetry have appeared in The Believer, Bomb, Boston Review, The Paris Review, Triple Canopy, and elsewhere. He lives in London and is the editor of Frieze magazine. Please welcome Andrew Durbin to the Rail Reading Series.
Thank you, Anselm. I'm really happy to be here and to read with this fantastic group of poets who I've known some way or another for a long time, especially Ben. Even this title, I Miss Summer, is an ongoing joke we've had in G-Chat since like 2011, maybe sooner than that. So anyway, I thought I would read some poems. I basically quit publishing poems like 5 or 6 years ago, but I still sometimes write them and I never get to read them. And I thought this would be maybe a good moment to read a few of them. So it won't be long, it's just a few. Love poem. And I'm terrible at titles now, so just pretend these aren't the titles. Imagine something better for me. Love poem. I banged my head and now I think I'm in love. I copy Amiri Baraka onto a napkin. What you are will have no certainty or end. I banged my head, love fleers, my wounded love's head. No end nor certainty, then what? The bump swells in love's spotlight through my crooked window, across my busted bed. When I say love comes forth and love runs away, I mean that love is like a free-range chicken. It wanders a thicket, but only after I lock its door. So as Anselm mentioned, I live in London now, so a few of these poems are sort of about Europe, which I'm still getting to know a little bit. So this is Cumbria from the train. My loneliness demands a day. I'm more than your summary idea, not quite a leap of faith, but sure, something tiny from which another enormous thing might seethe. If not for me, then you. Theoretically, they pertain to nothing serious, except my stinking laundry, increasingly quite serious, reeking of Sunday's day-old flowers, street names, faces of friends, the oily delivery bag hanging from the garbage bin, the TV gently suggesting itself in the corner as tonight's entertainment. An apt word, usufruct, meaning land to be sapped, completely thronged with sheep loitering in some ditch in Cumbria, seen from the train. A poetic term for lies, maybe untruth. The day is perfidy, sounds like a flower, which I have rarely used in conversation or a poem. I've tried again. I've tried a saltine, a soup, arranged life, a traded tongue. I keep several diaries, mostly at once, hoping if one is lost, another will survive fate's sudden notice. My humor runs lightly on the neighbor's cough. It's serious, it's topical, write a present feeling, little to lose, hacking lung. Alexander plots for Christmas. Pierogi lessons, cold beet soup, look of snowlight in none too aggressive eyes, filter down to me from the lowly heart. We were high, yes, but the view of the TV tower was gorgeous, if daunting. Yet recall not any betrayal, nor my annoyance, but the sin of a kind word for Joan Didion, whose on self-respect was trending with her death. Admonish women, confront failure, and the socialist housing your friend lent us, that flat. The GDR must have averaged the population, built everything for common man, just him, slightly short, rumpled shirt, stepping into the concrete future of Alexanderplatz with its whirling clock chiming the international time. Sinks, counters, all low, ever the discomfort tingling with the simplest of acts, like disappearing downstairs to tell your mother Merry Christmas while I spoil the soup. Runner's Paradise. Is stoner a sexuality? This is for Ben Fama. Is stoner a sexuality? Ward of youth, the clap of a door as I exit near the river where boys jog to Beyonce's Beyonce. You can tell how old this poem is. I wonder what her search terms for feminism were. To locate a body of work, being stoned is post-linguistic, like way too high to speak or in excess of the pleasure of thinking it's never enough. Being bodied in fragile language is okay, Beyonce says. In the meantime, can you free me to not be dumb, or is this it? The one world crystallized at the ghost level of Bitcoin, an economy of restrained glee held up at the door with a cocktail from a stupid bar, blasting Drake. Later, on our way to Manhattan, under the high rises, I think of Kenzo models in the gray, rise of blue and delicate colors of designer couture, as magic as a Fabergé egg recovered in time for Easter. It's moderately sunny, the Easter light a pale beige over the city as I speed up on the BQE, as the cab speeds up on the BQE with the sun fallen in its blue. I remember you vomiting on me last night in the cab, and for some reason I thought it was very cute. I know a DJ. I unhand you in a moment of weakness, overcome with the backlit glass that's Ibiza gorgeous in a long, intoxicated kind of way. The coast, the whole coast in a glitz of cubic zirconia, bubble burst in its splendid caricature of romantic life, that is my life. Convince me of yourself and I'll believe anything. A lightly powdered face, retrieved like a receipt from a clerk. Is it you? The answer is obvious. I am your clerk, but I am also your pressee. That one. Incomparable image for Lucy Ives. Cut your hair, cut it sideways, dye it red. Up the mountain where it's so fall, someone says, perhaps meaning significant chlorophyll breakdown, so fall, or cadmium colored bones not in pits of first snow. Predictable boyfriend. Saturn parallel Pluto by declination at the degree of the World Trade Center attacks, expect major world events. Cauterized bliss ends in perpetual wound, all the realm is yours. Otherwise, I stand at the mirror, stand alone, glance at the mirror and see myself in absolute pink before dissolving in the acid of my feelings. Child of the odds, given to principled failure, I paint my eyes the black of fate. I ring my lips the red of lies. Turn the handle to the right, I'm wet. Turn the handle to the left, you're wet. On the dial sticks, and I am forced to face the dry summer alone on the unbuilt autostrada. I accept the fierce light that creeps upon my grave in sundered rock as it spits forth its blue flame, convinced of the hell that holds me, hung in the afterglow of glow sticks from left over from last night's anniversary party. I am taken there willingly. Few are. Fewer still know they've arrived before it's too late to resist. Lapidary customs, a bank account at HSBC. You are my HSBC, I'm certain. You've said enough to assuage any residual doubt. With this in mind, I take that coin, place it in your hand, your palm. Do not shake your head. Pluto rises at 6. My Saturn returns sooner. And this is the last one. I think it's the last one, yes. Bad date. These are all bad date poems. Just go on a lot of bad dates. I set up for tomorrow. Bad date. In view of the city's resonant blue before rippling summer's inadequately romantic mood, he asks, do you really want to fuck? As if, in a cash green lawn, the Brooklyn rich cannot get rid of themselves or their charter schools. For this, do not forgive them. You, on the other hand, are almost never yourself at such instances. Photos of Swiss summer with Spanish celebs, caught in the maw of love's dog, hung on the jaw of this fair outside, which our hearts doth move, and move you to whomever you seek to be moved to. All things trending toward the topic of my crush. I can't get over it. By which I mean he who catches me unawares in July's cruel whip. By which I mean he who catches me unawares in grim reality's recurring bit. Or, as Adam Phillips writes in On Frustration, how does anybody ever get any pleasure? Does anybody ever get any pleasure? And if they do, is it worth it? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andrew. You might have to break that policy of not publishing these poems so we can actually get to read them. Our next reader is going to be Precious Okoyomon, born 1993 in the UK, poet, artist, and chef. Stages sculptural topographies composed of living, growing, decaying, and dying materials, including rock, water, wildflowers, snails, and vines. For Okoyomon, nature is inseparable from the historical marks of colonization and enslavement. Numerous key galleries and museums such as Liam, Samsung Museum of Art, Museum for Modern Kunst, Frankfurt, Venice Biennale, and Aspen Art Museum have featured Precious's work in solo and group exhibitions. Okoyomon's also been featured in articles for the art newspaper, Art News, Hypebeast, The Times, and W Magazine, among others. They are the author of But Did You Die, published last year by Wonder Books. Please welcome Precious Okoyomon to the Rail series.
Hi. So I'm going to read some poems from my book that's not out yet, that is eventually going to come out from Wonder and Serpentine. Hopefully this summer. Who knows, honestly. Time isn't in my hands. Lately, I've been writing these poems that feel more like these little prayers. So I'm just going to go through a list of a series of them. The world is breaking in flowers, the breath of things. Our love is a blue, insistent, and forward-looking sky. Every dream is a moment of freedom, bliss hovering above the void. Resonant darkness can't be bound. It's always being born. Ash in hand, myth arises where it sets. Knowing there is fire, knowing there is war. Cities rising and falling, a small black river flowing, the speed of darkness, everything burns repeatedly. Return back to the umbilical tongue, to the vesicles of present breath. Swallow bits of tenderness, bring yourself back to the earth. The animal that is most vulnerable is usually the most cruel. It is impossible to separate it from what it remembers. Sun beats, wind leaps, blood memory. I want to sin against purity, bliss hovering above the void, haptic fallout, feverish blood. Sun beats down, wind leaps, blood memory. Cheerful, obscene boredom, angel of the sun, singing with a hard fist. Life's benevolent corruption. Everything is hard against the tongue, everything dissolving into otherworldly paradise. Make heaven my home. I never learned my lesson. The new American Girl doll is no longer a slave. The image of Blackness is the violence of whiteness. I wanted to think about the body is becoming a kind of food for the street. Reduce the living body to be saturated in an unforgiving light. Try to be less afraid. Let's become something else. Be kind, be thoughtful, be agreeable. It is important to be likable. Make no effort to be nice. Destroy the context that sees you as volatile. Fragment with sticky edges rotating in wet, dark spaces. Drink your raw milk. Drink it up. I'm just like realizing things, trying to be capable of loving all people and all things, always capable of nothing. Repeat the succession of suffering until you suffer correctly. Being fucked by the moon, I create a new rebirth, cut me out of me. Oh, lover, I want to be fixed. Oh, new life, may the winds carry my name into the wild oats of the poisonous hollow. I gut my body of the heavens. Psalm of my wilderness, holiness, meet me halfway. I am only a sinner in my saintly practice. I carry nothing, but yet still there is light through this light. I have my light, and orange fire blows through the trees, a flame in a difficult situation, the wind. This God is a slow recovery of lost light, a serious baptism, continuously process, assimilation, become nothing. The only thing better than to fall in love is to fall out of love. Life is better when I am cruel. Who wants to be redeemed anyways? Who gives a fuck about redemption? Thank you.
Thanks, Precious. I'm going to walk around all day thinking about that last line. Who gives a fuck about redemption? Our next reader is going to be Chariot Wish. Based in Brooklyn, Chariot Wish's work has appeared online at the Quarterless Review, Yes Poetry, and Shit Wonder. Their recent chapbook titled A New Heaven and a New Earth is out from Wonder Press. Please welcome Chariot to the series.
Hi, everyone. This is my first time speaking out loud today, so bear with me gaining my voice. All right. This first poem is called Double Penetration. God spent years becoming the book. I have to slide through the keyhole. It will become night. Of course, we are all talking about the sky opening up. Where else would it come from? Let me show you my age. I want Jesus to forgive me too. This one's called The Bell Tower. It was formidable, the sexual affair, that spot on the hill, the loss and the loss of the loss. The curve of your dick excites me. Go fuck the open road. With the Freudian eye closed, doesn't it look like something perfect? I don't think there's an exit. The real I, the fake I, the real I, the fake I, the real I. It is January. I want candy. This one's called Califor. Califor, Nye, A, Lindsay Lohan, Coke knife, nitrous oxide in the passenger side. My mind crucified on the earth again. Thing, no thing. Though my love is rare, though my love is true. This one's called Mythica, which is like myth combined with Jessica. The eye takes the picture, the eye keeps the memory. Your long ankles cross at the table, your hand pulling at the skin on your neck. Light one candle for money, another for jewelry. House, weapon, fire. the holy holiday of Friday. God is circling over us now, sounding out the darkness, steamed earth split and milking the gray quarters of the sky. This is called I Died Laughing. It can enter through the eyes, vibrations from a thin gold chain looped around a neck. If I was the light, I would have kept crying, like, leave me here in this field, weeping. I could feel it all through my panties. I was the light emerging into the eye of my pussy, crying from the sensation of being emptied. 2 years into World War II, Mount Vesuvius erupted. 6 months earlier, there was a popular uprising in Naples. Neighbors raided the artillery, freed their people who were to be sent to death camps. Derek said how wonderful those times. Derek told his story of dying. Derek told the story of unbuttoning a man's pants. Men are always describing the heat of other men. Dance music played over the blue screen, like being in a room full of paintings of waves crashing and being moved by the idea of waves crashing, the inner experience, the inside of the experience. I'm sorry, but this is how I am. Is the microphone on? I don't really know where I am, but I think I'm being punished. It's not inconsequential, this terrain. Hamlet sees the ghost of his father. I see something else. I want to be lowered into a well, understand history. Chariot, you have to be in the world today, not supine in a field, fucking in the club, your fingers over mine. The blood goes in, the blood goes out. That's what gives it the color. This is what the hand that traveled through your tunnel said to me. You are a very sad person. You had been crying. You've seen too much, though also not enough. Sick of your country country made you sick. The club burned down. The death can't come soon enough. You're giving Ark of the Covenant. The tarot deck told me you were traveling back across the sea to this great city of finance. Henry Kissinger still lives here. You try hard to survive. I'd have to put my hand back in you to know if you did survive. When it's there, I'd have her say to you, moisturize your spirit, tilt the mirror up, jerk the handle. Ben said Christmas is really sad, considering the outcome of the life of baby Jesus. I cry all December at the light of angels, blowing their light up trumpets. When everything else has lost meaning, God, dimly perceived as love in human form, is all the meaning, eternal meaning that we need. I couldn't see anything from the inside of your hair. The fountain broke, then you let down your hair. It takes so long, my lord. And that's what I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, Chariot. I'm really stunned by the Kissinger reference, I have to say. There's a Kevin Davies poem that was published in 2000 where he says, don't worry, Kissinger will die before they can upload his brain. Anyway, thanks for the terrific poems. Our next reader is going to be Rachel Rabbit White. Rachel is the author of the poetry collection Porn Carnival and the extended Porn Carnival Paradise edition. Please welcome Rachel to the Rail reading series.
Thank you. I'm going to read 2 newer poems and then a poem from my book. This is called Charm Bracelet. Sun barely illuminated. I trail myself, passive, through automated gleam. Tonight, nothing is hitting, the older woman tells me. Pull up in something loose, a suggestion or substitution. Take God easy. Day after your birthday, you play our cash back, continuously slipping, the ostentatious nothing through to the end. There will just be more and more of this. I can no longer recall, not even halfway, the details always as if ending or beginning, a moment once held close. Maybe I was certain of something, to look back and see the days and the light around you. That afternoon, we were looking over an abyss, sudden and grassy, some 100 feet, the car below a wildly bare tree waiting against the sky to appear as if through all of time. You said everything in this world is a scam. Each day passes, each night possesses. I turned from the sky, a hand shielding my face, for once having had it, if even the sun will last. In absence, my left ear is all ringing. This one's called The End Forms a Picture of Something. In a basement apartment with no mirrors or windows, I talk to my reflection. There's too much certainty in this city, too much ambition, too much money. Unasleep, I wake. Still I go on, end up at a similar place. A wire fence, a piece of fabric trying to get free. Billowing all along here, higher here, wherever the infrastructure wills me. It stretches dangerously deep, this open pit dug by machines, filled with aluminum, plastic, and motor parts, a luxury loft lit high above, semi-truck to semi-truck. I read a sign to warn rats about electricity. A stranger stops to ask, "Do you need help?" The problem is my steering, emotion over thought, thought over emotion. Don't say I feel. Don't say it seems, say it as it is. In the basement, it wasn't a ground, more a system of floors. Rents rise beneath an infinity of baseboards, shifting the sense of where to walk, above or below a supposed bottom of overdrafts, fees. I fall in love with anyone as useless. He says we're spending less, but spending more. How can there be so much trash? How can so much of this be fake and still a love song wildly sensed, even if someone somewhere is getting off on all this? A voice inside me broke a long time ago. It's too distant to remember, too tiring to know if my thoughts are my own. Maybe I am where I am because I wanted to be. We hit the road, head to casinos. My man wears every gold ring on one hand, slide stacked disc to disc, the sound in his fingers, money. They keep the fraud going. There are paywalls for words, afforded by some distant part in myself where I have to admit I am no longer living. The plumbing is shot, the lights don't switch, the heat won't work, or you can't turn it off. When I lost my words, I lost my ability to fake just about anything. It's no original emotion. What's in the heart is not a thing to have. Still, I fuck up, see my reflection in every surrounding. It's getting to be spring. So summer comes how summer does, with all that is built poured into the street. And then I was gonna read this poem last night for Chariot because we were talking about Nietzsche, but then we had to go out so we didn't get a chance to, so I'm gonna read it now. And this one's for my book. This poem is called Monologue Beyond Midnight, and it starts with a Chelsea Minnis quote. Plus, I like sultry avenging birds, terrible birds with moisturized wings over the sea. Chelsea Minnis. Poetry gave me this sickness. I think the sky is mine. Its pollution is mine. I want to use my body for pain, to throw my hands in the air, the sky's dazzling grief. What do they know about being a bird? All that moisturized gliding. They say pity is extolled as virtue. The poet is a sort of prostitute, wrote Nietzsche, who failed this. A poet should live near the water, a prostitute near a harbor, where the meeting of certain atmospheres and birds seem no different than cats, folded comfortably in their plumage. The sky which forms, which flaps around me like love, like death, I'm told it eventually strikes. Everything of value has its cost. Let us take our pleasure, its madness, pleasure. Free and aimless we flutter, etc. But a nascent knowing I must bite the stone, writhe in my sinking, trapped in format of bed. I stroke my withdrawal, return to same in air. I have turned against thirsting for all that gliding. The more I become rooted in, rising up, turning away from and toward evil. Violence is an exacerbation of instability, and every poem turns against the poet. In my gratitude, I turn over what the gods didn't give me, I wanted so badly. My limbs emit pangs of imagined horizons, poetry to impress the gods and lend the reader moisturized wings. I'd sell my body for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thanks so much. And now this reading is going incredibly fast. Everybody might have to come back and do a second round or something, or we'll just finish with Ben Fama. And thank you again, Ben, for putting this together. Ben is a writer based in New York City. He's the author of Death Wish from Newest York and Fantasy from Ugly Duckling Press, and also the chapbooks Odalisque, Cool Memories, New Waves, and Aquarius Rising. He's also the author of the artist book Mall Witch and the co-founder of Wonder. Please welcome Ben Fama to the Brooklyn Rail reading series.
Thank you, Anselm. Thank you so much to the other readers too. Such a sweet reading. This is called Occult Symbolism of the Holy Grail Myth. Where it all began is quite unknown. The cup continued to exist. How it went where it wanted, not a story, but a cycle. Being dominated by those variants, I remember color and the smell, in esoteric recovery, the individual effort, that thing greater than the world. Through purification, you stand and set your life in order. I have few friends now. My relations are ceremonial, not to say snooty or overdetermined, but mutually charged with desires for a certain type of outcome. There's always pain. Maybe I'll go out. What do you think's going to happen? The story of a friend who went hiking and got lost, found a stranger who walked him into view of the church tower back in town. They talked so freely and energetically, later realized they crossed the river, bone dry, unaware. And the river in this story isn't real, or this stranger, or this story. It's the telling. They say all language, experimental handheld altar. Does God feel compersion? I thought about it often. If God is love, I'm fucked because I need God to accept love and affection. Scanning for the transcendent in other people, enduring what was better never to have been. I was looking for a way out and could see it in the language of the things I read. A boat rode to Avalon, everything not myself. Now join me, won't you? Down the slopes in antinatalism, where Simone Weil waits and says, believing in a heaven robs death of its purpose. Sick of the discourse, sick of the vibe, sick of the discourse, sick of the vibe, sick of the discourse, sick of the vibe, sick of the discourse, sick of the vibe. Winds change fast. Camus observing how evenings in certain landscapes must provide a sad relief, how expressing a desire initiates its fulfillment. At night, my eyes turn to the sky, the cup, the dish, the lance, the sword, the grail, not a thing, but a site of transmission, devotional poetics. And so look and pray, ask and wait. Simone again. I need God to take me by force, because if death, doing away with the shield of flesh, were to put me face to face with him, I should run away. Saint Francis of Assisi, nearly blind by an excess of tears, and the seeker of the Grail, well, it all relied on asking the right question. Beyond the castle, the wasteland, and Mouchette, 1967, having swaddled herself, rolling into the river. This is called Holy Guardian Angel. Like a 70s hot boat motoring through someone else's reverie. I'm too shy for what I want. One winged thing, not a wisp or migraine aura, a new kind of sacrament, beholden to what I'm held by, the things I can't touch, Oh, here comes the night, where my needs stretch my decency, my angel lost in the brand, covenantal. When I drew near, you disclosed yourself to me. I see you in my history, in the semiotics of the coast, angel drinking Chablis at Hearst Castle on call. I see you in the water Andrei Rublev could have painted at the hotel built north under the many statues. I don't know, insecure bullshit, people walking around, first the stories, then the lie of them, and what gets taken away. Let's talk about it in the car. You taught me not everyone is going to like me, to expect people to let me down, to soften the fuss when I die, light 3 candles and blow them out. Boredom. Can never forgive what it's done to my net worth, my thinking. I long for harmony and romantic meaning. Either I believe in an abiding concept of love that each participates according to their ability or virtues, or maybe worse, a yearning towards the arrival of unconditional harmony of one's unmet desires and present nature. Life without transcendental value is a horror. Egg with roses blooming in the mind inside, or agoraphobe dreaming of what may be found in other people. I know so little about the people I love, literature, tensions growing out of the calm, still life over the funeral card, elementary particles, rather than nothing. Is there some to eat, to see, to have grown in accordance with the natural world? There might be someone in day, just enough to bring the fantasy back home, west of sunset, the lilies and the birds, boredom. Now we're texting. I like your outfit, what's hung on your wall, how you rattle consent-based ontologies, your sterling bangles, your Betsy Johnson slip, boredom, thought it was an asset, daydreaming and all that, mere boredom. This is called The Pool. It's my I miss summer moment today. Summer light into the water. It's okay if life doesn't matter. Flooded concrete, cool bottom, dove down through the glint, cool glow in the house, the stillness from the chase, wet towel playlist, ambient natter, so 21st century. First we worshiped the gods, feared ourselves, blue darts of willpower, wind blows leaves in the pool, the little baskets, no sunscreen on the raft, thinking of the friends I've hurt. Tuesday you come to float, being with you feels how pool water looks, sparkling brilliance of the pool. Invite poets is gonna be crime. Justice is the advantage of the strong. There is no legitimizing meta discourse for our moral judgments, for our politics, for our estimations of ourselves in society. There is only the pool, daiquiris going nonstop, sunscreen on the bed sheets, coconut and cosmetics, broken-hearted idealists, surface tension, solar panel, hard conversation by the pool, dissociation, then a letting go meditation. I am not writing this poem, driving through Northern California, where the soft hills shoulder an easy sunlight into their greenery, chasing deferred utopia. And I know once I'm back, we won't last long, yet to remain at this point and to persevere in love. I read Golden Bough, and then From Ritual to Romance, On a Pill by the Pool, Tan Lines Under Lycra. That album that summer, always playing. A song always promises, but never gives anything. Longing, a sort of water that must be purified endlessly. Shadows over the tiles, sunset and the reflection of sunset, 8:01 p.m. The party. Attachments pine me in the face. Wait in the cold or stay home. A hot bath is a kind of antisocial telling. Soft sexting, polite like a Virginia church. We are in the wrong also if somebody hurts us. Stillness is a sacrament. However loud it gets, silence shall not be very far. My voice isn't beautiful. I practice divinity through loving other people, thinking of the lot I've gotten involved with, kind of depressing. I know a girl whose melancholy pallor underlined every photo she shared, folded her hands when she put on a movie. She'd really watch whatever. Life is no one coming for you. In the end, see how I'm disenfranchised. Life has simple rules. Don't become the spectacle today. I wanted to go to the party, but God held me down. Heavy angel on my chest, salutary that I may be wicked. This is called Glass Halo. Supplication, the blown out surf, and a beach party tonight. Past the house with the lilies. To love them is to leave them in bloom. What am I going to do now? Radio 104 distorts. God's in those waves, in the back of beyond. Saying a prayer is like reading a poem into a wishing well. In the shade by the dunes, wet dust, replete with suffering. Blessed are the poor in spirit as such. The riches of imagination, affliction. Last sunrise of May, we are apart, so 2 cold mornings. Mistress to my morals, exalted by what stretched them. Show me the poetry that makes life worth living. The tragic in people are the obvious things they don't see in themselves. Hard to find what you want. Let's take a moment there, power wash the deck to empty the mind of the image repertoire. I've been eating these candies you left behind, so unlike me. They're sour and don't last. I'll end there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben. And thank you, Andrew, Precious, Chariot, and Rachel. And thanks everybody for being here. What do we normally do now? We throw open the mics, which is another way of saying we unmute everybody to say hello and goodbye as we then head off into the rest of the day or night. We do this every Wednesday somehow. Please come back next week if you have some time. Irene Vasquez is going to be putting a reading together. And thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank
you so much. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chariot.
Thank you.
Beautiful reading. Thank you, Ben,
Thank you.
for curating
Thank
this
you.
segment. Thank you, Andrew.
Amazing.
Thank you, Precious.
Thank
Thank you so
Ben,
much.